Hey everyone, this is episode 140 of the Business Bootcamp podcast. Excited to be with you today. We're going to do something really different today, something very tactical. We were talking a little bit more about inspirational things and just kind of getting everyone going for 2017, which is important, but I wanted to kind of go really deep tactical today and answer a question that has kind of come to me a bunch in a roundabout way, and that is I mentioned a lot about, some Facebook marketing and things like that, and some people are like, hey, can you give us some real tips for small businesses and service businesses? And because it's fairly easy to find a lot of Facebook advertising stuff, especially in the podcast community, around selling online stuff, selling books, selling courses, selling videos, all that stuff. But today we're going to talk about how small businesses, for instance, my business, lawn care business, how do we use Facebook? How can home repair, all of these companies, retail companies, how can you use Facebook ads to drive revenue and to drive more customer base to your location or to your website or whatever you're looking for? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Before we get started, I want to say a big thank you to our episode sponsor, which is FreshBooks. You can go to freshbooks.com/bootcamp. You're going to get a free 30-day trial and be able to use all their software. One of the things I really like about their software is you can use credit cards. And so a lot of times small business owners will only accept checks, especially in my industry, lawn care, but any sort of service-based business, people only use checks to receive payment. The problem with that is a lot of times your client isn't always home, or better yet, if you accept credit cards, you can get them where they're paying automatically. You don't even have to send them an invoice because you have their card on file. And so FreshBooks is so great is because if the client is at home, they can pay right on their phone once they get the invoice. Right from the invoice, just put in their card information and it's good to go. And so a lot of small business owners will kind of balk at the 2 to 3% processing fees. But if you really take a look at it, as far as that cost, it's a whole lot better than having to wait 15 or 20 days for them to get the invoice in the mail and send the check back. Well, first off, they got to write the check, and that sometimes takes days while it sits on their desk. Then you got to collect it once it gets back. Then you got to fill out a deposit slip and take it to the bank and all of that stuff. So it cuts out a whole lot of admin time and just makes you so much more efficient by accepting the credit cards. And FreshBooks has integrated that so well with their current invoicing system that's just phenomenal. And so the whole new redesign of FreshBooks is amazing. So they've given us this opportunity. Go to freshbooks.com/bootcamp or just put Business Bootcamp in How Did You Hear About Us, and they'll give you that 30-day trial, and you don't even have to put your credit card number in. So that's pretty cool. All right, so let's get to today's episode. We're talking about Facebook ads, and for some of you who have used Facebook ads and have a lot of experience using Facebook ads for your business, driving traffic to your website, and essentially making the phone call, that's what we're trying to do. If you have experience in this field already, this might seem a little bit surface for you, a little bit beginner or intro, but that's really what it's for. I don't want to dig too deep into the weeds because you can get really deep on targeting and retargeting and using pixels to track conversions and stuff like that. And so that's important and everything, but I'm going to focus today on how can the small business owner who has never used Facebook or even has any sort of social media presence, how can they build an audience? And not so much build an audience, because that's not what you're doing when you're doing Facebook ads. Really, you're trying to get people to pick up the phone and pick up the phone and call you. And that's what separates us from a lot of online or brand companies. Yes, you want to create brand in your local area, so that's important. However, as small business owners, a lot of times what we're trying to do is get the phone to ring, because once we get the customer, or at least get an estimate, or we can start doing business with them, then we start the brand relationship and the brand building. Because you just want them to get, until you break out of obscurity and till they don't even know about you, until you actually get in front of them, that's kind of our objective with Facebook ads, in my opinion, for small businesses. Yes, the Pepsis and the Mountain Dew and the Doritos, they're going to put ads out on Facebook, and it's to build a brand, it's to build a brand image, it's to introduce new products, and they're willing to spend millions of dollars doing that because they have a massive market that they're going after. For us, we have a very narrow target audience that we just want to make contact with them outside of the online blog sphere, the online realm, get them to call us, get them to do something on our website, and drive sales and drive revenue. So it's a little bit different if you've already done this before, or if you're in a different space and not in small business retail or small business service-based business, this might be a little bit different for you. So I'm going to give some kind of 30,000 foot level, never done this before tips to you guys if you've never done Facebook ads before. So first of all, we go to business.facebook.com. You're going to have to create your own managing account, so it's separate than your regular Facebook account. And on that, you will be able to start creating ads. You're going to create a campaign. But what I really want to talk about today is how, like, anyone can go on Facebook or go onto YouTube and watch a video on how to create the ads. What I want to talk about today is the targeting aspect. So you could spend literally thousands of dollars on Facebook and not get conversions, not get people to pick up the phone or to go on your website, make contact with you. So what I'm going to talk about today is just give you a couple like hard tactic strategies that you can use to target and get the right people looking at your ad. Like, it's not that people aren't seeing your ad when you're wasting money, it's that the wrong people are seeing it. People that are cold, that essentially don't need your product or service, and that's not the type of people we want to be going after. And that's certainly not the money that we want to be spending that's not the place we want to be putting our marketing dollars, because as small business owners, we know that is a limited budget. We don't have millions of dollars to blow on just making a nice brand or making people see our funny videos. Like, we gotta drive sales. And so that's what we're talking about today. Number one, go to business.facebook.com, create a campaign. Now we're talking about targeting though. So how do you specifically use targeting to reach your audience? So if you already have a a mailing list, an email list, this is where it comes powerful. So if you have, like, if you've been in business for 10 years or something, you probably have a couple thousand emails of past and current clients. What you can do is import those emails into Facebook's database, and it'll scan through all of those emails and see if there are associated Facebook accounts with those. And then you can target your ad, or let your ad be shown to just those people. What makes that so powerful is they've already had an interaction with your company. Like, this is where you're going to have like your highest conversion. This is where you're going to have your highest, people calling you the most, and the response rate of these is going to be the highest, is because they're not a cold lead, they're a warm lead. In other words, they've done business with you before, they've seen you before, they might have seen other ads or other print marketing, might have done business with you, seen your website, things like that, and because of that, they are no longer a cold lead, thus increasing their conversion ratio. So that's if you have a mailing list. That's if you've been in business for a while, like us. We're going to be doing this spring. We put in our couple thousand emails, and so most of those are just people we've done one-time projects for, but we can now pitch them on Facebook for mowing and for maintenance services because we have their email, and if they have a Facebook account linked to that email address, they will see that ad in their news feed on a continual basis, and we can increase the frequency in which they see it, just because people aren't going to buy in the first time they see a new brand or a new something, although remember, these are warm leads. So that's the number one way to do it, is to import your mailing list into Facebook and target only the people you've already done business with or you somehow have got their contact information. Another way to do this, and this is kind of the way that we're going to be experimenting with, I've never used before, and I want to start using in multiple areas, not just my landscaping business. So what this one is you can target your ad based upon what kind of other business pages, what other Facebook pages that user likes. And so what you do is you can literally, like, this is what I'm going to test this year. Like, if I put in the Facebook pages of all my competitors or all the other lawn care and landscaping services, if I put their Facebook page in, this is usually going to be their client base that is liking their page and looking at their content. And what I'm going to do is try to see if there's people that have liked their page but then stopped service for whatever reason, and now I'm going to target at them. And so how I do that is you're targeting to what you do is when you go into your campaign, you create your campaign and it asks you who you want to be sending these ads to. You're going to create your target for the people who like certain other Facebook pages, and what you're going to do is put in all the Facebook addresses, Facebook pages that are all your competitors, for us, for instance. But you might not be putting your competitors in. You could also do something like, if someone is, if you're an insurance agent and you're wanting to go after people when they first buy their house, what you could do is target the people in your area that have also liked a real estate brokerage in your area within the past, 2 or 3 months. And so what this does is, if they've liked a brokerage, usually they're in either selling or buying a house because they're following what's going on in the real estate world. And so what you can do is then target to those people and become their preferred vendor of insurance by making sure that as they're going through the process of buying or selling a house, that you are constantly in front of them on their Facebook newsfeed. And I really feel that Facebook is kind of the underpriced way of advertising right now, like marketing and social media and stuff. There's other platforms that are even more popular, Snapchat, Instagram is upcoming, like all these. But I really feel that Facebook has a mature way of advertising and marketing for the small business owner that we can target so precisely is rare. Like for YouTube and for all these other companies that have ad platforms, it's just not as targeted as Facebook. Like you can, in Facebook, I'm not talking about these a bunch today, but you can also search by interest. So the big thing I like about Facebook is you can search by demographic. That's kind of a basic one. And so that way you can target only the users in your local area. However, like you can search by interest, so things that they're interested in. For instance, for landscapebusinesscourse.com, I did Facebook ads at the beginning to drive some initial response, and now it's pure, I don't do any Facebook ads. Now it's all based upon traffic from the podcast on Landscape Business Course podcast. But when I first started, I wanted to drive some traffic, so I did Facebook ads, and what I did is I select interests of people that are in the U.S., Canada, and Australia, and then that was my demographic, like physical location. Then I put in the interest of landscaping and entrepreneurship. So I put those in the targeting. So if someone was interested in landscaping, had been at other landscaping sites and things like that, and then also had an entrepreneurial drive, probably a good chance that they own a business or a manager in a lawn care and landscaping business. And so that's why I targeted it to. That was a really broad application. I also went really narrow, and that is using the strategy I just talked about. I looked at all the other sites that were similar to mine, like lawn and garden websites and Facebook pages and lawn and landscape. Like, what are the trade magazines that are common in your industry, or the people you're going after? What do they read? What do they like to do? And target those people. And what makes this so effective is you are not wasting dollars. Like, print marketing is great, sending flyers is great, all of that good stuff, postcards and door hangers and all of that good stuff. But what the problem is, you're a lot of times 80-90% of your marketing is going to someone who would never even buy your product or service, doesn't have the need for your product or service, or isn't interested in your product or service. And so what you want to do is, by using Facebook ads, you can really go after, like, you might charge, it might cost you between $1 and $5 per click, but if those are really hot leads, if those people have actively been looking, for instance for us, if they've been actively looking on landscape sites for a lawn care service, like, I'm happy to pay $5, and if 1 out of 2 of them call, and then 1 out of 2 of those convert to a lead, to a paying client, I've essentially paid $20. That's 4 leads. If you look at the conversion ratio there, 4 to 1, and so $20 if I'm paying 5 each, and $20, and I get a new client that might charge $40 or $50 a week and might stay with us for 3 or 4 years. So that's the kind of return you're looking for. And so it's normal to pay between $1 and $5 if you're doing pretty good for your per click for your Facebook ads. What you don't want is to have such an incredibly precise and narrow audience. So, like, if you do too much targeting and you have like 5 interests that they have to have, and they have to like certain Facebook pages and live in a certain area and be between like 55 and 57 years old, like, if you do get too targeted, the problem with that is you're going to start overpaying per click, because you're going to win every single target, you're going to win every single ad placement, because that's how they do the pricing model. Per click is it's based upon an auction model. So if you have a huge budget but your target audience is really low, they're going to see it a lot, but the problem with that, you're going to be paying a lot of money per person. So, like, you want a good sized audience depending on what you're going for. Again, like, if you're importing your own mailing list, if you're putting in your 2,000 or 3,000 emails that you've accumulated, and those are all hot leads, and let's say 300 or 400 of them have Facebook accounts attached to that email, that means you're going after 300 or 400 people that have actually done business with you, and you are able to get inside their newsfeed and see you on a consistent basis. That is going to generate leads, and that's going to generate calls, and that's going to generate new business. And then the second strategy that we shared today was if you are also wanting to take down a competitor or get some of their business, or get the people that used to have like their business and now have kind of moved away, or have don't like them anymore. They might weren't happy with them, but you can essentially go after their customers by using this Facebook strategy and targeting the people that like other Facebook pages. So I hope that wasn't too basic for some of you. If you have questions though and you've never done this before and you're like, some of that was still over my head, feel free to send me an email, businessbootcamppodcast@gmail.com. If you have any questions on how to start, grow, or save your business, make sure you email me. Also get on the website. You can get a free copy of the book. It's still up there. Just go to businessbootcamppodcast.com, fill out your email, and I'll send you the ebook right away. And essentially, this is the book right here. I'm showing it to everyone that's watching video. Millennial Millionaire, The Young Entrepreneur's Guide to Breaking Out of the Middle Class. It's completely free, the ebook edition on the website. Check it out today, businessbootcamppodcast.com. This is Mike Andes, episode 140 on the Business Bootcamp Podcast. Signing off.